Hi there, this is Kathy Crow here at the Crow Cottage in Springfield, Missouri. Thank you so much for joining me, and we are going to have fun today. Easter lilies. This is a really nice bundle, and I did check out my Easter lilies this morning. I love Casablanca lilies. They're white. They have a wonderful scent. They're July, bloomers. They are oriental lilies, but that is my Easter lily. Of course, they are never blooming at Easter time, but I don't know any lilies that do. You're going to have to go to the store to find actual Easter lilies, I think, which is probably how most people do it. Why is my internet not loading? I don't know. It's going to take me a long time to see. Hopefully I'm on. I see that I am. I am. Thank you for watching and sharing. I really appreciate it. And today we are going to do a lot of technique. I don't actually know how many cards I'm going to get to because when I looked at my newsletter, I thought, oh, the project I thought I was making, I did a tutorial for that one, which is so funny. So I think we might transform this same tutorial to the one that I think I thought I was doing. I'm actually going to do this card. This is at the front of the card. I haven't even completed it. I thought I had, but I didn't. Who's out there? Lawn people. Lawn people? Let me peek out here. Okay, hold on. Because I don't think we have lawn people coming. Oh, these are the guys to mark our lawn. Fabulous. So he's going to mark our whole yard. Oh boy, this is exciting. I have a little retaining wall I have to get done. Just a little one in the back. And then that's going to spur on a little new gardening. I know. That's always exciting to find another place to plant a plant. I've got some roses coming, but I'm really resisting growing perennials. I know how high maintenance those are. And bush roses are the top of the limit for me for fuss with plants here in our new spot. I do not want to get fussy plants that make me have to go out in the yard and work a lot because I actually want to just enjoy it. So yep, that's what he's doing. He's coming to mark the lawn. Yay. All right. So this is the technique we are going to do. This is a beautiful technique. I saw one of the other demonstrators posted on our demonstrator planning place, which is just for Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. So if you are missing out on all kinds of fun things, it's because you haven't chosen to get your starter kit. Get your starter kit and you can join me, and then you can see all the things all over the place on my team and on the demonstrator, all over. In fact, there's a bunch of places. This was I don't remember her name. I wish I do. Although it is a technique I've seen before, so it's not like it is unique to her. It's just that it was one that I'd forgotten about, and it's really cool. So we're going to do this. You're going to figure out, you're going to see how to do it. Then the other card that I think I have in my newsletter today is this one, and we're going to do the embossing folder, but I like, red lilies are actually really pretty. But I don't want another red one. And I also, but I do want to use that black background because the embossing technique I'm using for that, the darker colors show it up a lot more. So that's very nice. I bet Jeff is downstairs with the internet on, and that's why it's just not functioning. Like I don't see anything. I don't even know what's on. So if you are with me and commenting, I probably won't see the comments. I don't have the time anyway, just because for some reason they're not showing up in my feed. And it's probably because Facebook has done some changes, and what I view it from is actually not my Kathy Crow's Cards account. So they're probably not letting me see those comments, and I can't see them when my phone is facing down. So there you go. That's my excuse. So what else is going on? We did just finish Celebration. So thank you, all of you who engaged in that. You got a lot of neat new stuff. And so that's all exciting. But we do have a new catalog coming. Is it next month? I know our pre-order is next month. So it must be in May. Yes, May is the new catalog. That's the big annual catalog. Why is he getting in his truck? Don't leave. You didn't do anything. Okay. So anyway, I'm sorry I'm so distracted, but I'm sorry. Gardening sort of takes precedence over cards. That's just me. I'm going to put the camera down. That'll force me to get going, and you'll be relieved to not have to listen to all of my chatter probably. I know a lot of you just watch and you don't even listen, and that actually is kind of nice for me too, because then I know I don't have to worry about really what I'm saying too much, because you guys are not listening anyway. All right, I'm going to move this over. Oh man, I didn't realize I needed to move it over a lot more. So let me do that. I kind of got stuff shoved around in the corners of my desk. So this is going to take just a minute so that I can center this a bit better. Hopefully you can see. I can't really see all you can see. I mean, I can sort of see it, but not really, because I use my computer over here to see what you see. And it's not even loading. It's like it's refusing to get Facebook at all. Let me try it again. I see Facebook. You're on. Why are you not loading Kathy Crow's cards? Why? Did she ban me or something? Okay, no, there she is. All right. Excellent. So I see my arm. I see everything, but I do not want to have the sound on. Excellent. We're off. Live chat. So hopefully I will see some things. All right. I did go to see what's available and what isn't, because I wasn't sure that all of the embossing folders I wanted to use today, I wasn't really even sure that they were available. They are. Everything is available. The Easter Lilies set, the whole set is available. I've got this out only because this is where, if you were teased at all by my newsletter wondering what this is, God is good all the time. When you're in church, you know, the preacher will say God is good, and then we congregation people, we say back to him all the time, and then we say to him all the time, and then he says God is good. I love that. It just it reminds us it doesn't matter whether, when you're praying and things go wonky and not at all the way you want it, well, that is just the way it is. And sometimes he doesn't do what you want him to. That's because he's God. He actually knows what's best. So, hopefully Jeff is going to get that. So let me make sure. Jeff, you're getting that, right? Jeff? Hey there. How are you doing today? I am good. I'm working on underground utilities for small scale. Okay, what exactly are you doing out front? Well, out front, I don't know that we're doing anything out front. I am picking plants all over the yard, so I really would like to know where to do all over the yard. Sorry. I know you guys did it a while ago, so I kind of know. Now the guys that are doing the work for me in the team will only go into that. Are you finishing out by the curb at all, by the sidewalk, anything like that? Right here, I'd like to, and maybe over on the other side too. That's why I kind of need to know. Okay. Have you called in to take it to the front yard? Did you have to call? They called in for the whole yard. Okay. Yeah. I asked them to. Okay. All right, that works. I'll get the next one. Yes, ma'am. You have a good day. You too. Bye-bye. All right, sorry about that, folks, that I had to do that. But man, you know, it makes me mad because that kid was not going to do the whole yard. And if I hadn't talked to him just now, he wouldn't have done the whole yard. He said, "Are you going to be digging around in the front yard at all?" And I said, "Well, I'm adding plants like all over the yard. So yeah, I kind of would like to know all over the yard." "Oh, really? Are you sure? Who called it in?" I mean, seriously, I'm thinking, how hard do you work? He looks like about 18. Anyway, he's not that good. Sheesh. Like, just do your job, okay? I asked. He said, "Well, did they ask for the whole yard?" I said, "Yes, I asked them to. I asked them to have the whole yard marked because I'm going to be digging in plants. Like, I don't know where, but all over the yard." Why, like in the front yard? I said, "Yeah, in that corner, by the sidewalk at all?" "Yes, by that corner." But I'm thinking, come on. Sheesh. Why is it so hard these days to get people to work? I don't know. It's got to be after his lunchtime. So, like, seriously, why am I so crabby? I don't know why I'm so crabby. Okay, so let's go back to God is good. that's a good thing to go back to. I got this part. Isn't the font perfect with this? Because the word good is very similar to the, you know, all times Roman, whatever this font is from Cuckoo For You. This is an old set from a long time, and it says miss you all the time. And I was sure I had a stamp set that said all the time, and I did. So this is why you don't want to get rid of your old stamp sets, folks. I know you do. You sell your stuff, and then you don't have everything you need. I'm terribly sorry for you. But don't do it. All right, just make room. There's always room. There's always room. Distressed tile. Let's talk about these tiles because they are available. So this is the exposed brick one. I do not have that one written down. This is in the annual catalog. It's available. It's beautiful. This is the one I used on this card. And then the distressed tile is actually one I couldn't even find it in a catalog. It must be an online thing or something. I don't know. Maybe it came in a flyer. I don't know. But this is the number. It's $9.50. This is actually one of my favorite new ones now. Goes right up there with that time-worn type and this exposed brick because it has like a shabby chic sort of look to it. Any of these works really well with a technique like this. But that one is actually from the Layered Floral 3D. This is a new one from our new mini catalog, and it's $11 because it's bigger. You can see now this exposed brick one's probably $11 too. I don't really know. Did I write it down? No, I didn't. It's a 6 by 6, and this one's a little cheaper because it's a probably 4.5 instead of 6 inches. But the 6 inch works. I mean, this little skinny one works just as good. I actually kind of prefer these 6 inch ones though because it's going to give you a nice big piece that you can cut exactly where you want it. Now the technique I'm going to use, what she did is she had you ink up we're going to sponge the paper, and then she had us ink the front of the embossing folder with a dark one. I used gray in this one to get some color in there. I'm of mixed emotion with this. I think I would rather place the ink rather than risk getting it on things I don't want. So I'm not as fond of that part of it. So we're not going to do that part. We're not going to ink up the folder. Plus, I really dislike inking my folders because it's a big, fat mess. So anyway, we're not going to do that, but we are going to do the other things. There were some other things she said to do that I discovered I didn't think I needed to do. So we're going to just do it my way, which is oftentimes the easier way. Sometimes it's a good way, sometimes it's not. You can get my website here if you want to sign up for my newsletter. There's my Stampin' Up shop if you want to purchase any of these things. Like if you do the Lilies bundle today, let's see, if you do the Lilies bundle today, you can get a free embellishment, but you'd have to do the Lilies bundle, and that is going to include at least one of those big embossing folders. And then there's the Square store, which has classes, and there's my newsletter QR code. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a couple of blending brushes. I'm going to need 3 colors. I'm going to use Melon Mambo, and we're going to use Daffodil Delight. Oh, there's my yellowish that's I keep forgetting what color I'm using, and that's sort of my orange, I believe. And then we are going to be needing to emboss. So I've got my white embossing powder. Oh, that reminds me. So Stampin' Up right now is having an issue getting their embossing powder. Apparently the supplier just, I don't know, isn't sending it or whatever. So they're having to get a new supplier. And yeah, so then that means that we don't have any. So you're going to have to get that from somewhere else for a while, but it will be back. It's holding a 3-pack anyway. And I don't know anybody who buys embossing folders or embossing powders like that. I like to get 1 powder at a time because I never run out of 3 at the same time, at the same rate. I don't use them that way. So the likelihood that that's going to happen is slim. Let's start with the lightest color first. So I'm going to do some yellow. Let's make sure I'm using the right brush. And you know what? I want to make sure I have all my cleaning supplies. This is a messy affair. Down to the back of my sleeves, Jeff said to me a couple of days ago, he said, I think I'm going to have to make a smock or a doctor's lab coat. You need to get a doctor's lab coat to wear in there. I said, what? I do not need a doctor's lab coat. I thought he was making some joke about how technical, you know, my work is. And he's pretty funny. Yeah, anyway, he wasn't saying anything like that. Now, I'm not being careful. You can see I'm not at all trying to be careful. This is why I like this technique so well. You don't have to be careful at all with this. This is just a come as you are. Don't worry about it. That was Daffodil Delight. This is Pumpkin Pie. Now, for Pumpkin Pie, we are going to go a little easy on you. Because I actually, if I were just here all by myself, I'd be using some... Oh, I'm going to come back to that one. I'd be using my Tango Tangerine, my Gooey Guava, some of those other oranges. But since I'm trying to stick with something you can buy, Pumpkin Pie is still available, of course, because it's a basic. This is Melon Mambo. I do want a ton of pink on here. So I think before I start smearing a whole bunch, let's clean some of that color off. And start again there with other color. And then maybe it'll work better, you think? I don't know. I don't think it's going to matter. Smearing the colors together is actually what works. So he said, the back of your sleeve. I was wearing my pink sweatshirt that I wear all the time when I go to work out. I said on the back of your arm, look. And so I had ink all over there. Actually less than I suspected, considering what he was saying about the lab coat, but it still was pretty bad. I said, you've got to be kidding. How long has that been there? I didn't even know. Okay, I want a pretty good swoop of pink, and I want it all the way through. And some parts of it I want dark and some light. And then, of course, I do want more orange on there. So that's all I'm going to do for that. And then we're going to clear this again because I do not want pink in my orange. So we'll clean this. I'm watching the guy marking our yard as I'm doing this. And he's like, no, he's not zipping around the yard, I guarantee you. But that's probably good. He's going to actually mark it well and make sure everything is in exact. How hard would it be to mark the whole yard as opposed to part of the yard? Is that hard? Maybe you guys know. Maybe that is hard. I don't know. Or Pumpkin Pie, here we come. Now, let's focus more on this side. I want to keep that nice yellow. So we're going to focus a little more on this corner with some orange. And this one with some orange. But not too much. Now, I want orange here, but not too much. I'm going to kind of rub some of it off onto my board because that's just not coming out orangey enough, but I don't want it to, I want it to kind of fade and go around, okay? This is going to be one of those. Now look at your thing and see if you've got pale colors. Make sure you are getting the color you want into it. Like, do I really want more orange here? I don't, but I do want a little. So I'm going to just add that tiny bit, but then I'm going to come back in with my pink without even re-inking. And then we're going to try to get a little more of that in there. Do you see how that's kind of smoothing it out a little bit? Doesn't really have to be smooth because that embossing's going to do a lot. Plus, don't worry about the corners, the fact that it's darker. Don't worry about that because that's all going to get trimmed off anyway. All right, now I'm trying to figure out what to do with my brushes. I don't really want to get ink all over the place. This is another thing that I do. I set these aside that I get ink on things, and then I rub my arm on it, apparently. So I put a whole bunch of shout on my sleeves and washed them, and they didn't completely come clean, but it was just a sweatshirt. So, you know, but with my sweater, it's like, oh, I'm going to have to be aware of that I'm putting my arm down on the board or my desk. See how dark that is, you know, you don't see that you've got a bunch of ink all over it. And then you put your arm on it. So apparently I'm doing that a lot. All right, so there you go. That part is done. Oh, this is where the magic is going to happen. You are going to just love this. Now, she recommended spritzing it with water on the back, but I did not find that that was necessary, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to go ahead and emboss. Okay, so let's pull this. I think I've got you up high enough. We can just pull this out. This is our embossing plate. Where did I put the folders? Because I did have them out. Here they are, right behind me. So we're going to put these in, and then for this design, I'm going to have my sentiment. Oh, probably. I suspect I'm going to have my sentiment around down here somewhere. Maybe up here, though, one or the other. So I definitely want one of the nice big flowers. I want it more centered right there. So that's going to be a little challenging compared to where my flowers actually are. Now, this folder you can turn because it's not directional at all. You can move your paper. Now I've got my flower here more like where I want it. So that's how we're going to run this through. And it doesn't have to be straight. You could make it crooked if you want. That's the beauty of not having directionality in these embossing folders. I actually prefer that. That's going way too easy. So I'm not sure. Let's see what kind of an impression I get on this. Let's just see. Oh yeah, I love it. Now I did use very vanilla instead of white, and if I'd used white, that would have been fine. Now, do you see how when the cardstock stretched to go through this, you can see some of that stretching effect, which is fine for what we are doing today. But if you didn't like that, you would have to be covering that up or using your ink again to kind of brush back in that color. That is one of the things about these 3D embossing folders that can happen. If you sponge ahead of time and your cardstock is a different color, that color on this color is going to come through in a few of these places because it's really a deep embossing. And it's beautiful. I love it. And it works with this technique so well. And the other embossing folders will work, but just not as good. Not as good. Now we're going to emboss, so I need to get out one of my little, I take these that come in with our dies, these little things, and I use these to do tape, when I'm taping the back of things. Because it's glossy paper, it actually works really well. And to put my embossing powder back into the embossing thing, that is what I've got it out for. Now take your Versamark and no, I'm on. Okay, good. I'm concerned about my feed for some reason. I just want to ink up these other edges. Now, if I didn't want a whole lot of white in here, like maybe I don't. I don't really want splotches. So you can take if you don't want any splotching, you want to be more controlled over where this powder ends up, take your embossing buddy and put it where you don't want any splotches. You can rub the whole thing if you want to. That's totally unnecessary though, because you do want a lot
of your embossing powder on here. But I actually want to be a little more controlled than I was when I did the other one. I don't want it down in the crevices. Okay, so now that that is done, now I'm going to take my Versamark, and I'm going to keep this fairly flat. We're going to just press this on, and it's going to go on the spots that are raised when you do it this way. It's not going to go over all of it, just a lot of it. Okay, so I'm not being too careful, but I'm not pushing down hardly at all. I'm just laying it on there. Okay, all right, so now that's done. Now we're going to take our powder and we're going to put the powder over the entire piece, and a lot of it. You need like a whole jar, really, to put as much as you want on there. And then I'm going to go like this to get that whole piece covered with this powder. I want it all covered. This is so pretty. I know you think, oh, she's wasting all that powder. Well, no, because then you just go like this. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Now you can see where the edges of my, I'm going to flick it. Oops, that didn't work very good. Let's hold it better. Flick. Okay, that will get some of this stuff to knock off in the spaces that you can see where I thought I'd done my embossing, but I did, but I obviously pressed my ink thing down in there instead of just laying it on the top like I thought I was doing. Now, you can leave it, and it still is going to look pretty good, but I don't want to. So what I'm going to do first of all is take all my excess powder before I have a terrible accident with it. One time, one of my friends said, you know, I was using, and it wasn't embossing powder, but I could see this happening with embossing powder. It was when we had some other kind of powdery thing we were using. What was that? I forget what that was, but she said I sneezed. I didn't realize. Yeah, you sneeze, it's gonna go everywhere, and whew, what a mess it would be. Now I've got a big mess. Oh boy, it is a big mess, and I'm gonna use one of my other things just to get that powder off, because I don't like that feel of powder all over the place. It drives me crazy. It's when I heat it, I'm always afraid I'm gonna heat, like, you know, pieces of embossing all over the place if I just leave it. So I like to clean off all of the excess powder once I've finished with that. Now you're going to, let me get it all. Okay, because I can feel it. Okay, we're not done with this though. So I'm gonna grab, let me grab another one, because I want to get some of that off, and you can. This is sort of fussy, and you don't have to be this fussy, but this actually would look okay to have all of these on here, but I don't want them all on there. Some of it is okay, but I want some of this off. So, because I actually really love that background. It's pretty. So I don't mind having some mess. Again, we're going for the distressed look. Distressed means it can be a little messy, but that was going to be way too messy. So you can just kind of knock your powder off a little bit with your brush, and it'll flow right on down into whatever is inked, you know, up. It'll kind of catch under there. Good. He must be doing a good job, because I don't see him out there. Our front yard's actually really quite small. And then the side yards are really very small too. And I definitely need the side yards done, because I want some bushes kind of obscuring directionality in our yard. That's just a technique in gardens, is to, without a lot of work, is to make paths that wander, so that, you know, you can't see everything from one perspective. We might never actually see the fruition of these bushes I'm planting with them. It does take, you know, unless you're planting really expensive plants, it takes about 10 years for them to get as big as you want them. So we might not make it that long. You're probably laughing. When I went to the doctor, I had to see the physician. I wasn't happy about it, as I really didn't expect that, although I should have, because my appointment said it. And if I had made a fuss and said, no, 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 I'm going in to see the physician assistant, they would have probably said, oh, okay, our mistake. Well, I didn't catch on. I just kind of thought, oh, they're just linking me with the guy who he's actually working for, and that's fine. Well, anyway, he had to give me this whole spiel about his philosophy, and he's, unfortunately, poor guy. I felt sorry for him. He's really nice, for one thing. You know, struggling with medicine the way it is. So he said he was going through a midlife crisis, and I'm telling you, he looked barely 30 to 35 maybe to me. So I was chuckling to myself about that. And then you know, then I get my medication, and they've changed my dose, and it's like, are you kidding me? Who did that? The doctor or the nurse did? Oh, no. The doctor can do that, but I'm not just accepting it if the nurse, if the nursing does it. Like, I did not even see the nurse. Come on. All right, so now you're getting your heating tool going, and I'm just letting it warm up. You've got your powder where you want it for the most part, and then this is all you're doing. Oh man, I know you know about embossing, but doesn't that always just feel isn't that always exciting just to see it changing color like that? It really pops out. And then these little flowers. Oh boy, they looked beautiful before, but now look at them. Whew. You can do gold and silver, and that looks great too, but you know what? I really like this white. If you go down to the craft store, you might be able to find all kinds of colored powders. I'm not really sure. It's just a matter of what do they have in stock at the moment. So it's kind of nice to see. I collect various crafting items, and I'm sure you do too. Embossing folders, and no, not emboss. I actually pretty much stick with Stampin' Up! Embossing folders. I've been disappointed with other ones that didn't impress as nearly as well. So, you know, I might occasionally, but I actually haven't probably in more than 10 years, bought a different one. But embossing powders, that's totally different. That kind of goes in the realm of ribbon. I would like to see what ribbons and what embossing powders are there out there. Okay. Now, if you're like me and you're using something with a clip, do be careful of that metal clip. It could be really hot. And we'll slide that off. Oh, that is so pretty. I love that. Now, we're not really, I should probably emboss sentiment while I'm doing this, but I'm not going to, because I just want to finish this card out really quick for you. I used crushed curry for the background. And so now you can see you've got this all ready to go. It needs to be trimmed to fit on here. And then we are going to take our crushed curry, another piece of it, and we're going to stamp our lily on it. So let's just do that really quick. If I've got my lily, where did I put them? I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm a little discombobulated today. I don't know why. I worked out. I felt really good. I think it's because we've had so many things happening in the Stampin' Up! World, and right at the moment it's sort of a little lull, and it's like I don't know how to handle a lull. Okay, we're not going to use the dies right now. Now this stamp set, though, just to bring it to your attention, I have not used the Lily Builder dies. So you've got this beautiful 3 lily, the open flower, the partially open flower, and the bud stage. You've got those. You've got this wonderful texture stamp. Beautiful fern leaf. Then you've also got the stem for your lilies. And then these sentiments are the reason I actually bought this. Although after I'd used the flower, I was glad because I had another lily one, but I think I prefer this one. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and peace I give unto you. Perfect. Perfect sentiments. Thank you, Stampin' Up, for really good Bible verse type God sentiments. I really do appreciate that a lot about this company. There aren't very many stamp companies that do that anymore. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I'm going to just use this one lily that's opened up, and we're going to use the God is good sentiment. And that one is the one I use all the time. It is good for people who are having, health issues. It's good for people who are having a wonderful time in life, nothing going wrong. It's good for just, not really sure how things are going in life, but it might be good and it might not. It's good. So we're going to just stamp our little flower here in the corner. And then I'm going to clean this, obviously. And then I am going to, let me grab one of my, when I've got a really messy ink, like anything red or green, or pretty much red or green, I clean it with my little wipe first. And then use it on my Simply Chamois, because otherwise my Simply Chamois just has to be cleaned so quickly. Those inks are just really, really colorful dyes. So we'll do this, and then we're going to get out God is Good. And I still see embossing powder like all over everything. Yeah, let's remove the brush. That might help. Okay, God is Good. Same color. This is Melon Mambo. Right. Yeah, right there. Okay, and then I'm gonna actually cut this out with the die, and then we are going to, I'm going to show you how I colored it. But the way I cut it out with the die is just a little different than you normally would do it. So this is why I'm showing this card to you instead of writing a tutorial. To write the tutorial just would have been a little complicated. You could have handled it without any sweat at all, I'm sure. But I'm never positive that my words are actually making sense. It makes perfect sense to me, but sometimes when I go to do things from other people's tutorials, I think, well, why did she write it like that? Because that doesn't make sense at all, and I don't even get what she's talking about, but I can see what she did, and so I'll just make do. But this one, I just thought I'm gonna avoid all of that, and we're gonna just do this together. Now I'm looking for stylish shapes. That's the one that has squares. Stylish shapes. I've got a lish going here. Want a pretty good size square that's gonna fit everything really well. And I want the bottom of my lily to hang out. That's not big enough. I think I'm gonna go up size. Let's see. Do I want to upsize you? No, I don't. I think I'm going with not stylish shapes. Stylish shapes will work. You can make it work. But I bet you I used a retired square shape. But boy, where am I going to find that? Because I don't really remember where I put you. I was so sure I was using stylish shapes. Where are, aha, stitched shapes. There we go. So our old set, stitched shapes, also had ovals, squares, and circles. And I do use it still quite a bit. Ah, perfect. So if you have stitched shapes, this largest square. No, that's not right either. I've got that embossing folder or powder in my, I can feel it in my nose. That's too small. Okay, Catherine. Come on, dear. You can do this. Okay, so we're going back to stylish shapes, and we're going to make this work. As I'm going to use the biggest one. And what we're going to do is I'm going to cut part of it at the top. So I'm going to position this here. We're going to, and I did it too close to the edge. I should have moved it over some, but we're going to just make this work anyway. I'm going to start this here, but then I'm going to move it and then move the die up here. And we're not going to get a perfect square like we would have if I could find the one that I used. I don't know what I used. I have so many dies that I bet you I hunted for the perfect one for this card. And now I don't know which one it was. So we're not going to worry about it. We're going to just proceed. So this is stylish shapes. I'm not going all the way to the bottom, but I can go pretty close. The only reason I'm not going all the way to the bottom is because I do want part of this lily to poke out. So in order to get that to happen though, we need some of the lily to be clipped. So the part that's going to pop out, I am just going to cut around the lily. Okay. So that that little bit is going to go out and over. So don't cut out any more than you want to have hanging out. You can kind of go up into it a little bit if you want, but don't go too far. All right, so now we're going to take that and stick that part on top so it doesn't get cut. I do want to feel where those dots are so that they get right, the grooves fit right back into place. Okay, and then we're going to, oops, I do want some of that. Well, because actually, we're going to move this, bump it up. We're going to just bump this up. And then I'll cut that part of the lily away. Okay, let me feel in here now. I gotta feel where those dots are. I work by feeling it. Otherwise, yeah, if I don't get it in exactly the right spot, then we're gonna have to stamp it and cut it again. So let's see what happens. You'll see what I mean when I pull it out. If I didn't do it right, we will see. Perfect. Okay, so my dotted stitched part is fine. It would have been nice to have had a bit there, but I would have had to cut it a bit more to get that. And instead, we're going to just clip this lily flower away a little bit. There. Now you're going to hang off onto the border that I'm going to have for that. Now, because this is a little short, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this side too and shorten it up just a bit more. And then I can just use this same die. I can use the same die for the little background matte color. I don't want to cut my lily though, so there we go. We don't need it to be too big, just a little bit. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And we'll just cut that edge. All of these are techniques that really enhance your card making, and they are easy to do. It's just a matter of knowing how to do it. And you can take these shapes and make them any size cut you want. While we've got this here, let's do our Melon Mambo piece. That's going to be the matte color underneath that sentiment. You know, I can't, for Easter, I just can't imagine a better card than the one that says God is good for Easter. Because the Easter story is a hard one for people who don't know Christ. It's just a really hard one, because who would believe that a God that would plan to have his son die, and of course Jesus was in on that plan. It's not like he was just informed. That is the plan. There's no plan A, no plan B. That is the plan. you're going to die. But it just means life for all that choose you. So, God is good, but man, his ways are definitely not our ways. Now, what we want to do is get just a hint. I wanted just a hint of more pink in here. So, I'm just going to get another blending brush. We have some little teeny tiny ones. Do I have a red one? I don't know that I do. I might not have used red. I'm actually gonna, I think I'm gonna grab a dauber. You can use your blending brush, but I think I'm gonna use a little finger dauber. That one's orange. Let's find a pink one. Do I have a pink one? I thought I did. I'm seeing orange. Okay. I'm seeing orange and yellow, and I see one that's not. That is so funny. Okay. I'm having a hard time, but there's one that's got a little bit of pink on it. So grab your Melon Mambo again. And we're going to take that. I do want yellow in the throat because lilies always have, don't they? Almost always have that yellow, that nice yellow throat. Ooh, I better not just plop that down on that. That'll be tough. Okay, so I'm getting some of that ink off. In fact, quite a bit of it off. That was a lot. And then I'm just going to put just a bit of pink in the leaves, but not in the throat. Make sure I don't have ink all over my hands. Oh man, so pretty. Sponging or brushing, anything like that always has such a nice softening, gorgeous effect. It's just a matter of trying to be a little careful not to go out of the flower shape. All right, so there we go. Isn't that nice? And then I am going to take my let me move my thing so I can sit down, then I can work a little bit better. And I'm going to pull this down a bit. Hopefully you can still see everything. I'm going to use a chalk writer. Now, my chalk, we don't even carry this chalk writer anymore. We used to, but we don't anymore. And I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let me see if that's good. I know my lights are reflecting kind of weird, but I think you're going to be all right. So I take you can buy a white pad because my chalk writer ran out a long time ago. Now you can buy them in the store, but why would you? Because this actually works really well. I just use this as my little inker. And I just want to make white happen all on these edges. Now you could emboss it. It would be a challenge too, but you could. But this chalk writer, Stampin' Up chalk marker, which again, we don't even sell this anymore, I don't think. Now if we do, correct me. This is all I use this pad for. So if I get a little bit of ink in it, I'm not too concerned about it. I do have a white refill for this, and you could probably use that. But this way you can kind of make your pink pale out a little bit if you want to. I kind of got it a little strong. So if I want it to be a little paler, I can just kind of pull my white ink right in on it. I really like white lilies. I told you that already. Those Casablanca ones, sometimes they sell those at Costco in a big bunch. They're actually not very expensive. And I would caution you about buying them at a big box store. I did do that. I've never done it before. I've always gotten them from a reputable bulb dealer, mail order, I thought, you know what? In this garden, I'm trying to be really low low key and low cost too. I don't want to be spending tons of money. You know, it is taking that guy a while. I can see why he was complaining, because he has to actually paint every single line, and it's probably, he's got multiple colors he's got to work with, and he was just thinking, do I really have to do this whole yard? I'm sure that's what his instructions said. And he was thinking, I bet the homeowner just called in and said, come and mark the yard, and they didn't really need me to mark the whole yard. I should be more gracious to people. Oh well. Anyway, it just is a difference between how people look at things, because, you know, Jeff and I, we like to be pretty thorough. So if our job ticket had said to mark the whole yard, neither one of us would have ever had the guts even to just go up to the door and say, and it's not that big a deal to say, did you really want the whole yard marked, or was it there a specific area, you know, you needed marked? We wouldn't have done that. We would have just done the job, right? And I'm sure you would have too, but you know, I'm trying to be nice about this poor kid out here who maybe needs his coffee break. Okay, and I am grateful that he is out here. Actually, I'm grateful he's out here. I think this is 2 days before they said they were going to do it. And that's marvelous, because our lawn guy said, now let us know the minute they have it marked, because we will be getting out there and getting that job done immediately. And I'm so excited. That means my back is going to be bad probably by next Monday, because I've got to get a whole bunch of pavers ordered. And I may just be out of commission from moving pavers around. Who knows? But that actually would be a good problem. All right, so this petal actually doesn't go down into the throat of your lily, so feel free to make that one a little bit more colorful. You don't have to save that yellow interior so much. But for this one, no, keep that. We just want mostly the edges. So when you have colored cardstock like this, you can make your image fairly bright. You're not going to get it to a complete white, but you can lighten it up a lot, and it can appear white just in contrast with all of that color around it. Really a nice effect. Okay, what do you think? There are lots and lots of lilies that have this kind of coloring, and it's not a stargazer, but they kind of almost, they actually don't have, I don't think they have. Now, I've got pink on there. So you probably want to clean anything like that off. I definitely don't want to leave the color on my white marker, so I'm going to use my little wiper and get that off. And then I do see a bunch of pink in there, so I'm going to kind of poke around here and get some of that off. All right. So that is how I am using my chalk marker. Instead of buying another one, I'm so cheap. Hey, it works. If I needed a lot of chalk writing done, I guess I would buy a new one. Now let's see if I need to trim my mat at all. Because really, I want my card backing to show more than that label. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay, but I actually want that to be trimmed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think I'm going to go ahead and get my embossing, my machine out again. Oops, not you. We're gonna mark here where we want this. I just need it to be, about a 1/4 of an inch off on that bottom. Okay. And then that way it'll be not quite so big, because I don't really want it to be covering up. Okay, so about 1/4 of an inch. Again, just get in the groove. That's about where I want it. Pretty close anyway. We're going to make that a little shorter. Okay. There we go. Now we can assemble. I don't have any ribbon or anything on this one because it's so pretty you don't need to. This is just a gorgeous technique to do for a very simple card. Isn't that nice? Yeah, I really like that. That's going to be really pretty. I think the white just really makes it stand out. All right. Oh, why is he over in our neighbor's yard? Oh, it's a good thing nobody was over there. It looks like he got dirty over there. So he has to check out all kinds of things while he's here, apparently, to make sure he's getting all the utilities marked. He's good. Okay. There we go. Last night, Jeff and I were watching a Murder, She Wrote episode, and it was the one where the author that grew up as it was a student of Jessica's comes back to town and is doing all these, naughty stories about the townspeople, and they're all so upset. And I don't have another piece of Moody or Melon Mambo. Foolish me. Let me cut one. I wonder if I have one in here. I might. Let's see. Melon Mambo. Oh, I have a bunch. Cardstock anyway. Well, I don't have one cut, so we'll just do this one. So we want this to be 5 1/2 and 4 1/4. All right, now anyway, they were so catty. Just see which edges you want off. I think I might want this edge off because I kind of like the way this little flower is. But I do kind of like the dark pink here. It kind of goes with my Melon Mambo, so maybe I'll cut this side off. So what I'm needing to do is, since I'm cutting it and it's heavily, treated, I definitely have to turn this over to cut. Be very careful when you're cutting it. So we're doing 4 inches. I'm going to take my blade. I'm going to start in the center and just kind of gently go around and across, trying not to tear before I really push that blade down, because it's really easy to tear once you've embossed things. And then this side, let's leave that yellow corner, and we want to go to, turn this so you can see the dimensions I'm doing. 5 1/4. Okay, same thing. Put it it doesn't have to be in the actual middle, but in an area that's more raised. And then just kind of be careful. Now, you kind of have to use some force, because if you're too careful, you will cause it to tear. So there's a little trick to it. You can cut things and then sponge and then emboss, and that's all fine and dandy. But I like to do it this way, and the reason is so that I can pick the perfect spot to cut away. There you go. Aren't you beautiful? Now is the time, if you want any ribbon or anything, now's the time to put it on. But we're not doing anything like that. This is pretty ornate all on its own. All the texture of the embossing, both the folder embossing and the powder embossing adds texture. And then all the sponge color, having a matted cinnamon, all of that goes to lots and lots of texture and color. So I don't think we need anything more there. Oh, you are so pretty. I love that. The thing is that you can say, I love that. And it really, it's not what I did particularly. It's just that, again, God is good. He makes good colors. Can you believe that? Well, who would think of that? So pretty. All right, now this we definitely want raised up. This is bigger than my original card. I did make it shorter. It looks like I used Mango Melody too instead of Crushed Curry, but Mango Melody is a color we don't have anymore, so I thought, Crushed Curry's pretty dark. It'll work. All right, so we'll put our dimensionals on here, and then we are done with this card. You would, of course, put it on a card base. Card base that is, I actually have one handy here I could do. Cut 4 1/4 across by 11, score it at 5 1/2. And this is just your standard card size for the U.S. I guess the English, the UK has different standard card sizes. I didn't really realize that until just a short bit ago. Oh, I don't want to cover up too much of that. Oh, well. That dark pink. I could put it more up here, maybe, on this one. I might do that. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to put this one up here. It works there, too. I kind of cover up that main flower I didn't want to cover up, but that's okay. All right, so what do you think? Which one do you like? Do you like this with this dark kind of gray that I got in there? Or do you like it more clean looking like I do? It's just a matter of opinion. That doesn't mean anything, it's just aesthetics. Everybody has different views about what things look good, and there's no right or wrong with it. It can be anything. It's one reason I like that shabby chic technique. It's very forgiving for anything. So if you flub up, you're going to be able to still make it look good. Okay, there we go. You're so cute. All right, so that one's done. I'll have to make a base court card now for that one. Now, I did do this one. What did I write on here? Oh, for this one, I did spritz it, and I put some black instead of gray to see how that would look. But I still just didn't like that. But this blue, this is the technique the demonstrator's web planning page. These are the colors she used. I did not write them in. Thought I had. That's why I had them here. But I didn't. Shame on me. Because she used 2 different blues, and she used, oh man, looks like a couple of different greens. Anyway, it turned out really pretty. It almost looks like water behind. Like these are water lilies, don't they? I like that. I haven't made it into a card, but I do like it. Now, the one last thing. I'm not going to do a whole card for it, but I do want to show you that exposed brick, how I did this, the red card. So all I'm doing is taking this basic black, and we're going to go through, run it through this. Oh, I better put the camera up. I can barely fit this underneath, and you're probably like super claustrophobic there. This is the distressed. Is it the distressed tile? No, exposed brick. That's what it is. Now, this is mine 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Again, if you're concerned about, maybe, let's look. And it's a little shorter. No, it is. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So look at your brick wall. I wanted a horizontal card going like this. So I'm going to have to put it in the folder like that, or else my bricks are going to be going the wrong way. Okay, because they can go up and down like this. But I really want, let me think about this, because if they were like that, it'd be like that, and that would look weird. So it wouldn't work at all. And I actually wanted less of the brick and more of the distressed. So I'm kind of moving this down to where I've got actually more distressed on this card. Here, 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 here. And there's a very little actual brick showing up on that. So that's how I'm doing it. Obviously, you might want to have more brick showing than it says distressed, and it does look that way, but it's like texture. It's just sheer texture to me. because this kind of texture, if you didn't have that brick in it, would be great in waves, like for foam. It's like a spotty kind of texture. I'm still seeing a ton of embossing powder all over the place. That is just what happens when you do that embossing powder thing. Even with containing it, it just sort of, I can feel it. It's still like all over. I'm going to wipe everything down when I'm done. Okay, now what do? Well, because it's of this black, I'm going to take a metallic. What do I have here? Where are you? I've got a few metallics. Let's see. I've got a color box, because I don't think we even have one right now. I've got a color box metallic, and I've got this rose, gold rose one. Now the silver one is the one that will show up best. So I might use that, but I actually really like this rose gold. I think I'll use the silver just so that you can see what I'm doing. And this one isn't a whole, this is like this 3-color deal, which is harder to use. But again, just being a little careful and going over the top. And at least you can see immediately what you're doing. On this one, with a Versamark, you can't really see. Mostly, I want this. So I've got a big glob of brick showing there. But mainly what I wanted was that texture bit, that distressed texture bit. So just gently, little bit at a time until you get what you want. Do not push down. Pretend that you're combing one of your kids' hair, you know, the long girl's hair, that one's hair. And it's the one that cries all the time. Every time you even get near her with the brush. This is how you do this. You pretend you're brushing her hair. You're barely touching her head. She's probably still crying, but at least now you know. You're barely touching her. You can tell her, I know it doesn't even hurt. I didn't even touch you that time. Does this sound like I have experience? You know, my daughter, her little girl, they are having her keep her hair long. She's very little. Just leaving the toddler stage. And I was so impressed that my daughter, Mary, she's not putting up with that at all. She's like, no, you're not crying. And I thought, wow, that's pretty funny, Mary, coming from somebody who really bellowed, you know, every time I got near you with the brush. Now, this side is pretty good. That one's a little heavy right there. In fact, I can see a little gold instead of silver. So I'm going to cut that side off. But let's turn it over. We're going to cut off, want it to be 5 1/4 because I want a matte on this. So again, start in the middle, be a little careful. This one is not a 3D embossing folder, so it goes a little quicker. You don't have to be quite so careful. And I think we'll cut this side to 4 inches. Okay, my blade is getting a little dull, but mostly it just does this when you have, you know, you're not cutting a flat surface, it'll do that. All right, now what color do I want? We are going to do lilies on this, and I do like pink lilies. Pink lilies are really pretty, and we already got some, I've got some polished pink handy here, so let's do polished pink. Okay. So we'll make this one 5 1/2 and 4 1/4. Now this one I wanted to put ribbon on it, so do not glue this down yet. Okay, do not glue it down. And then let's also just cut out our tags while we're right here. We'll take this and this. Are these the same color? Yes. Oh, that's why it didn't match. I wondered when we did it. I thought, why is that not perfectly matching. Well, that's Melon Mambo and that's Polished Pink. That's why. Oh, well, we are not going to worry about that now. That card is done. So I am going to use, I did not buy this set right away because I have so many different shaped dies. If you've got these stylish ones, you do. There's these little teeny tiny stitched ones, though, that you can get. They're little teeny tiny stitched. Now, this was with the fern, wild fern set. Okay, I've got them in here with this, just that I remember to use them, because this is going to use, I'm going to use one of these, I believe, for this one. No, I don't want to, because I'm going to actually use the bigger stitched one. And then there's this other set that's really nice too. That is, let's see if I can find you. Darling Details. Oh, yes, Darling Details or Everyday ones. I think it's Darling Details. No, that's Darling Details. They have dots. They actually have dots, and they've got circles. There's this beautiful trim piece that you can put a ribbon through, which is really nice. I love these. What are you called? We're going to cut one of these, and then we're going to do our sentiment with that. You know, I am going to have to find out. Is this big enough? Barely. It's kind of torn a bit there. Let's grab another piece. Oh, that's Melon Mambo. Oh, boy. Thought I got it out of... Maybe that is Melon Mambo, and maybe that isn't Polished Pink. This is Polished Pink. Okay, so it was Melon Mambo. Maybe it was in the sun or something, because sometimes my stuff gets in the sun and stays there a while, you know, and then it sort of fades a bit. They're barely big enough, but it is. So we'll cut out this tag, which is going to be our background tag with that stitched piece. You're going to see this die. It's so pretty. It is going to leave a lot of little stitching holes all over the place. It's true. But they should fall out pretty easily. I did like the stitched dies because they weren't as messy. This one's a tiny bit messier. Ah, see how they came right out there? Nice. But they did come out off the plate nicely. But they're going to make a big mess unless you clean that die right away. Okay, now you can see. See all those little dots? I have these little teeny tiny dots all over the place. Because even if you do this and clean them into a little container, they just tend to get all over the place. All right, but they are really nice, and they're layering. So I've got the white one ready to go. You've got like several layers, and the fact that there's circles, because we don't have, so you've got stylish shape dies, it's got circles, and you've got that one that circles, and it's nice to have different ones, because let's look at our stylish shapes really quick. I'm going to show you why. This circle is slightly larger than this one. So because if you have two different styles, you've got more circles. These are not copies of these. These are slightly off-sized, which means you're going to be able to layer even more. And that is just really nice to have. Okay, we are going to use some white. Find a piece of scrap to stamp. We want to stamp the lily. I'm not going to make this whole card. I just want to give you an idea of what I did, because I promised I would. And then you can use your own imagination to finish the card, because I cannot take the time to do the whole thing. It's way too much time. All right, so let's, yeah, that is going to work. So we'll do that. We're going to do Memento Black. There's the lily. Okay, we need just one. fern. I love that fern. It's so pretty. I need the bigger block, I bet, for that. Okay, there's your fern. And we need the stem of the lily, of course. We're going to use, I'm not sure if I'm using, I think I am. I think I'm using every lily bud that there is. So we've got the partially open one. And there's the stem. I love these photopolymer ones because if I was going to be more careful about how I was stamping right now, I could just do it all on one piece. And but because I've got dies, I can kind of be careless and just stamp, color, and then cut it out and assemble. And that's handy to be able to do. Let's do our sentiment while we're stamping. Okay, so those are all the pieces I'm going to be using. I'm using that God is Good again, and then the cuckoo stamp. Okay, let me grab another piece of white cardstock. And we're gonna, because I've got a black background, I can just use my black. And we're gonna go God is Good. And put that back. Dies are flopping all over the place. And where did I put the cuckoo stamp? Where did you go? I know I had you out. There you are. Okay, cuckoo. Miss you all the time. Now, wonderful. It is a photopolymer. Otherwise, this would have made it much more complicated. So where's the miss you all the time? Time to celebrate. There you are, right there. I really like this stamp set. It's a little bit, you can see I've got extras in there ready to go because it was just a little challenging to make and to assemble. And a lot of coloring. Okay, so you can see the part that you want is just the all the time. So you just position that over your ink pad. Make sure you get the word all in there. Okay, and then you can easily place it right where you want it. Okay, that one's an easy one to do like this. Sometimes the ones I pick to go together are not as easy to do, but photopolymers make that super, super easy. I've gotten pretty picky. The cling stamps have to be really good ones, or I just don't even buy them anymore because it just is too hard for me to work with sometimes. So that was the die that we cut the other one out. So this is the one that's going to cut the sentiment out. Okay, so my words aren't perfectly straight, but pretty close. I mean, this one line is just a little tiny bit off, but I'd probably be the only one that would even notice that. With a photopolymer one, you can really get a good match of it. Oh, my dots. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. You did. You made a big mess on there. Okay. Those dots, they get under and they get on, and it's messy. I do like them, though. They're pretty. And I like that I can see the color of my mat through that really well. So cute. Okay, now I used my gold trim, gold thread actually. to wrap around that black card. And I used an edge that is a retired edge. I have a ton of edge dies, so when I want an edge piece, I go hunt down the one I want. This is like almost a Western themed one we had several years ago. So I just laid this on the mat. There he goes. He's done. Oh man, he's got like all the flags out. Fabulous. I hope he did the backyard. Okay, he better have. He better have. So I'm gonna need to get another one of my edge dies, and then I will cut an edge from my Melon Mambo. Okay, and then I will glue that on there, and then I'm gonna wrap my ribbon around, tie it, put this right on top of it, like that. I'm gonna color my lilies with our Melon Mambo color, cut them out. Just assemble them underneath my label, stick the label on, and that is how that card was done. I'm not going to show you doing all of that because this has gotten very long, but I do really appreciate you watching. Keep track of all the things that we're doing and Stampin' Up! And here, and I hope you have a really good day. I'm excited to go out and see what the lawn guy cut or marked out back, because I have dug around back there, hoping I did not dig into anything, and I was really careful, but now I will know where everything is, and it is smarter to know before you dig, right? So now I will know, thankfully. But I am happy to see all those flags out there, because where he has them is actually right where I was going to dig. So I'm glad I know. Have a great day. Easter is coming. It's coming in just a few weeks. Can you believe it? So I hope you're ready for it. This stamp set is available still, but it won't be for long. I'm sure it will be sold out, so get in there and get it. If you buy the bundle in one of these embossing folders, I will send you an embellishment. I don't know what it'll be because I never know what's going to be available, but I will send you one. And have a wonderful day, and God bless your week and this whole month. It's March already, and it's getting warm. It is nice. I'm so excited to get out there this afternoon and check out my little bulbs, see if they're up anymore. Have a great day. Bye.